Okay, so now that we've managed to create some good looking reports and had a look at some queries, uh, it's time to look at some reports. So if you really think about it, you don't want to print the data like this. Okay, it looks very much like Excel. Even the queries, you don't want to print the queries like this. You might want to as a list, but sometimes you want to have some really good professional looking reports that you can distribute to various end users. And the way to do that is to click Create, and you'll see the reports area here. Now there's several ways to do this. Okay, you can do a blank report, you can go straight to design or report wizard and so on. And what you're going to learn is you can create reports that look like Excel, the ones with standard columns, alphabetized, subtotals, whatever you like to do. You can have ones that are staggered. They break down the data into different kind of boxes, and you can also do what we call form mail. And form mail is when you write up a letter that is going to be the same for everybody that you send it out to, for example, every customer, but you want certain pieces of information changed. So we'll have a look at that as well. Okay. Now in this case, I'd like to go to Report Wizard, and let's just have a look at that. Okay, so click on Report Wizard. And first thing, it's going to ask you the data that you want in your report, where is it coming from? So let's have a look. You can grab the data from any master table, in which case it'll give you all the records, all of them, or you can take a query, and those are filtered results. So it's not all the records. For example, when we did high value sales, you remember that we only chose certain shipments that were greater than a certain amount, certain revenue greater than a certain amount, and so on. So you can do either. What I'm going to do is do orders master. Now in orders master, it's got all of these fields or columns of information. Now, do you want to see all of it on your report? You could. There's nothing wrong with it. So I only want to see certain things on my report. So let's have a look. I want to see product, customer, country, NAFTA. Let's do order date, quantity, and revenue. And let's do one more. Let's do driver. Okay, I want to see the driver who shipped the order. So let's click next. And it's going to ask you, do you want all of this data just in one straight list, or do you want to add any sort of grouping? So for example, if in my report I wanted all the Fluky products, then all the data, then all of the Bringa, then all of the Indigo in alphabetical order, I suppose, I could just take product and move it over. It's going to group it by product. If I don't want it, move it back. I could group it by customer or NAFTA. I mean, anything at all. As a matter of fact, you can group by more than one thing. So here's what I'd like. I want to group it by product and then by customer. So inside the first product, let's say it was Bringa, it'll list alphabetically all the customers inside. Okay. Now we'll do that in the next one. I just wanted to show that to you. So I'm going to move these back. I want to just show you a standard report first. So let's click next, and it's going to ask you, how do you want to sort the records? So I want to sort all of my records by, let's say, order date. Okay, and it's going to be ascending, lower to higher. And within that, you could sort by something else as well. So for example, if I sorted by product, inside product I could sort by all customers, and then I could sort by order date. So it'll give me alphabetically the products, within each product alphabetically the customers, and within that according to order date, and so on. So I just want to get rid of some of this. Okay, let's go back to what I really wanted, which was order date. Okay, click next. And it's going to ask you, how do you want the report to look? Now, don't get too excited because it doesn't give you all the choices right now. Okay, do you want it to be columnar? So have a look. Those are columns. Tabular or justified. Now, try experiment with different ones, see what you get. And I'm just going to try columnar, see what happens. Right? Do you want the paper to be landscape, which is fine. You can squeeze in more columns across the page, or do you want to keep it portrait, which is your standard report? And of course then adjust the fields so they all fit in. You'll have to do some adjustments later anyways. So let's have a look. Click next, give it a good name, and we'll call this main report, and click finish. And that's what the report looks like. Now take a look. What it's doing is giving you all of the information we asked for, first order date and the customer, the product, and so on. And then the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and it proceeds like that. We can remove these boxes, we can change the header, we can do all sorts of things to this, and I'm just going to demonstrate. Okay, so first of all, you have to close print view, and it will take you directly to design view. So let's have a look. This is what your report looks like, okay? Now, we don't want to add additional fields. We could if we wanted to. I'm just going to close this. If you ever want to just add extra things that you forgot, you can go to add existing fields, okay? Let's have a look. First of all, you want to make sure left or right, the actual size of this space here fits in with the size of your paper. And generally, paper is 8.5 inches wide. You can generally leave it at around 8 to account for the margins. Okay, so you have to play around with that. Now, let's go to the top. Let's put main report, the title over here, and I just want to put my company logo. And if you remember, that button was this one here, right? Or you can insert image. So let's click right here, SunCall logo, and just move it to wherever you'd like it. Now, the idea is to conserve space, so don't leave things too big like that, okay? That just wastes space. It looks pretty okay, right? Now, in the detail area, it's going to show all of your fields the way you see them. So take a look. First of all, there's way too much space over here. It's being wasted. So you're going to have to take some time just to squeeze these over. And then, of course, I'm going to move all of these things over closer. So grab onto this box, right? Remember, if you move your mouse here, it moves the whole thing, right? Let's undo. Let's grab onto this, tighten it, and you know what? I think that box is too big anyway, so I'm just going to shorten it down. And that's where you really just have to kind of go back and forth, just make sure everything fits. So that's way too big. Remember, the bigger you keep your fields, the more space is going to be wasted on your precious piece of paper. So let's finish this off. Now, I'm going to preview the report by clicking this button, and you see it's already a little bit cleaner. Obviously, I need to work on the spacing here. All this space here has been wasted. So let's go back to design view, and let's do this. Let's put order date way up here. Take product, put it right next to it. Okay, just make sure it spaces out okay. Put customer next to that. And again, ask yourself, what pieces of information do you want to see together? Okay, let's do that. Put country. Actually, you know what? I don't want country, so let's just delete it. Get rid of it. I do want NAFTA. I'll make that a little bit smaller. And put it here. And quantity, maybe a little bit smaller. So quantity, I'm going to put right down here. Okay, how's that? Good. And revenue, right over here. And driver, right over here. So that's actually going to show you the data exactly the way you see it. But this space, again, is going to be repeated. So let's have a look. Let's click on view. And you see what's happening? It's repeating each record as is, but with this wasted space. So don't do that. Now, you might want to, for some reason, add, let's say, a rectangle in this space if you want to have a space in your report so that people can write notes. Okay, let's have a look. So it's a nice little box people can write notes. You have to ask yourself, how is the report going to be used? So back to design view, get rid of this, and take this space and make it really narrow. There we go. And you can also put a line, right? Let's have a look. I'm going to save this, go to this view. Now that looks a lot better. See? And it automatically puts these different color bands in. Let's go back to design view. And the header and the footer, that'll be today's date equal NOW. And then down here you've got, it'll tell you the number of pages and out of. So if you wanted to add things down here, right, that didn't belong, you could always click on some of these features here. So date, time, the actual title of the report, page numbers, and so on. You want to click and choose what it is that you'd like. Now, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. So that'll appear at the bottom of the page. Now, if I wanted to have fields that cover just one row and not have them staggered like this, I can always move everything all on one line. So let's save this. Let's have a look. And that's a pretty good report. If you scroll down, you get all the records, and I think we had like 700 something records, right? So, save it, let's close it, and we're going to do another one.